Good morning, everyone. Please sit down. Good morning, everyone. There are moments that simply pass, and then there are moments that bring together vision, intellect, and purpose. Today is truly one such occasion. It is with immense pride, heartfelt warmth, and profound gratitude that I welcome this August gathering to the National Conference on Tribal Identity, Governance, and Justice in Contemporary India: Recognition, Rights, and Realities. On behalf of the Center for Tribal and Cultural Studies, HPNLU Shimla, I extend my most humble and gracious welcome to our distinguished chief guest, Sri Suresh Kashyapji, Honorable Member of the Parliament, whose esteemed presence adds great honor and meaning to this occasion. I also warmly welcome Professor Dr. Harish Thakur, Department of Political Science, Himachal Pradesh University, whose academic contributions and insights continue to inspire and enrich scholarly discourse. With deep respect, I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor Ma'am, Professor Dr. Preeti Saxena, the visionary leader of Himachal Pradesh National Law University, whose unstoppable guidance has continued to shape this institution. Since she's joined, we have embarked upon a new journey towards excellence. I take great pleasure in welcoming our Registrar Sir, Professor Dr. Alok Kumar, for his constant support and encouragement. I take great pleasure in welcoming the Director of the Center for Tribal and Cultural Studies, HPNLU, whose dedication and efforts have made this conference a reality. The faculty coordinators of the center, Dr. Ved and Dr. Narendra Pal, who has left no stone unturned to put up this show. I also extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to our respected faculty members, dear students, enthusiastic participants present physically and virtually. Each one of us has taken time to be here, and for that we are deeply grateful. Our students who belong to different tribes have embraced tribal attire to embody the spirit of the theme. Please accept the encomiums. To mark the formal commencement of the auspicious occasion, we now move towards the ceremonial lamp lighting, a tradition that symbolizes the removal of darkness and the ushering in of knowledge, wisdom, and enlightenment. The light of the lamp truly reflects the spirit of learning and the pursuit of truth that brings us all together. I now request our Reverend Vice Chancellor Ma'am to felicitate our esteemed guests with the traditional Himachali topi, shawl, and ransinga, symbols of rich cultural heritage of Himachal Pradesh and warm hospitality of HPNLU Shimla. I also request our distinguished guests to accompany. Dr. Harish Thakur. Thank you so much for gracing this occasion. May I now respectfully request our esteemed dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais. I request everyone to kindly rise for the Kulgi.
योगः करं सुकौशलम् योगः करं सुकौशलम् हिमाचल प्रदेश राष्ट्र विधि विश्व गुरु बनना है क्यों न गुरूर करें हिमालय से ऊंचा मस्तक जिसका दूरदर्शिता आसमान की परतें चिरे हवाएं झूम झूम नाम ले जिसका बर्फ कोमलता में दृढ़ता भरे देवित्य विधि के हर विधान की मस्तक झुके कर वेदी है संविधान की त्यार करे शक्ति शासन के प्राण की और अपने भारत देश महान की तथ्य से अवगत करा तत्व अंगीकृत कराए तर्क को अंगीभूत करा वितर्क की पूर्ण आहुति डलवाए कहता है हर युवा यहाँ लेखनी और वाणी वीर बने कानूनी मदद का दरिया बहा वाद विवाद प्रतिद्वंदी बने इनके आंचल से चुरा सफेदी चलाओ न्यायालय संस्कारों से मिटाए अन्याय श्वेत श्याम वर्दी ख्याति बढ़े देवभूमि की जिससे न्याय की देवी का रूप सजा जहाँ स्थापित करे सिंहासन सुनहरा कुंदन बन संवरे विद्यार्थी यहाँ सारे जग में एक होनारा हिमाचल प्रदेश राष्ट्र विधि विश्वविद्यालय विश्व गुरु बनना है क्यों करें।
This conference calls upon us to move beyond mere recognition towards the meaningful realization of rights while upholding the dignity and identity of the tribal communities. And on that note, allow me to recite, we are not apart from the land, we are a part of its breath. Our roots run deeper than borders, our identity lives where the earth remembers us. Together we come together to engage with voices and realities that demand understanding of justice and honor these communities whose lives embody resilience, cultural richness, and a deep harmony with nature, rooted in the spirit of jungle, and Jameen. To set the tone and spirit of this entire gathering, I request the captain of the ship named HPNLU, whose persona and intellect not only navigates us through the evolving currents of legal education but also anchors us firmly in the values of justice, integrity, and inclusivity. Ma'am.
हिमाचल प्रदेश राष्ट्रीय विधि विश्वविद्यालय के प्रांगण से आप सभी को मेरा अभिनंदन, स्वागत, नमस्कार। आज अवकाश का विषय है कि हमारे बीच हमारे ही क्षेत्र के श्री सुरेश कश्यप जी हमारे साथ उपस्थित हैं और मुझे उनका यहाँ पर अभिनंदन अभिवादन करने में बहुत ही एक खुद की अनुभूति हो रही है। हमारे इस कार्यक्रम के लिए उन्होंने समय निकाला, वो यहाँ हमारे साथ आए और उससे भी बड़ी खुशी की बात ये है कि अभी जब हम चाय पर बैठे थे तो मैंने एक छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट की जिसको कि उन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से एक्सेप्ट किया, तो उसके लिए सर मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दे रही हूँ। वेलकम नोट के साथ धन्यवाद। So good morning and a very warm welcome to each one of you here in this national conference on tribal identity, governance and justice in contemporary India, recognition, rights and realities. We find that this conference is a testament to our commitment to the understanding and addressing the complexities faced by tribal communities, not only in Himachal but the entire nation. Today, we come together not only as the scholars, practitioners, advocates, but as a collective force from his land. I am welcoming him again. आप ही की ये जमी है और आप ही की जमी पर आप ही का एक बार फिर से स्वागत। Sir, your leadership and advocacy for our community has been invaluable, and we are grateful for your presence here today. Your dedication to promoting justice, governance, and rights of the tribal community reflects the spirit of this conference, for which you have consented to be the chief guest of this inaugural session. We look forward for your insights and perspectives, which are undoubtedly enrich the discussions as your chief guest address. I, on behalf of the HPNLU, and I, on my own behalf, welcome you in this university campus. Sir, I would like to inform you that this university was established in 2016 and it is the 10th year of its existence. And as I just discussed with you, that this is a state university named as National University, because this is the concept of the national law universities in the entire country, and all these state universities, these are the national law universities, but state has to fund, and as I told that state is not funding. So as I have put my request and you have kindly accepted to that, I'm very, very thankful for that. I also welcome the keynote speaker of this inaugural session, Professor Harish Thakurji, Professor of Political Science from Himachal Pradesh University. Welcome, sir, to this inaugural session. I welcome all the dignitaries accompanied by our chief guest, Sri Suresh Kashyapji. In this program, I welcome each one of you, though I do not know the name of each one of you, but I welcome to all in this program. I welcome all the teaching and non-teaching faculty of the HPNLU, all the participants who have joined online also, and the panelists, the chairpersons of various technical sessions, and foremost, this program would not be as successful without the help and support of those who are sitting here, our most important and dearest students. So I welcome all my students from the HPNLU and particularly from the Center of Tribal and Cultural Studies, who have done a lot of work to be here in this inaugural session. So I welcome each one of you. I also welcome the director of this particular national conference and also the director of the Center for Tribal and Cultural Studies, Professor S.S. Jaswalji. I welcome my own registrar of the university, Dr. Alok Kumarji. And once again, I wish that this particular conference may get a huge success, because this is a program which is very important for this particular region where we have maximum percentage of the tribal population. So they may know what are their rights, what are the recognitions given by the law, and the entire day academic exercise will be discussing on their rights and recognitions so that they may be aware of that. And I would also request the director that he should not stop here, but proceed further with the copy of the publishing of the papers which you have received in this conference, so that they may also be aware as to what are their rights. So with these words, I thank you and
Thank you so much, ma'am, for acknowledging each one of us. They do not own the land, they belong to it, living not to control nature, but to coexist with it as its quiet custodians and enduring souls. To take this discussion forward and to present a detailed introduction to the theme, I now have the honor of inviting the director of the Center for Tribal and Cultural Studies to brief us about the significance of the conference.
आदरणीय श्री सुरेश कश्यप जी, माननीय सांसद शिमला लोकसभा, आज के इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि प्रोफेसर हरीश कुमार जी, आज के इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य वक्ता प्रोफेसर प्रीति सक्सेना, हमारे अपने ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर यूनिवर्सिटी के, प्रोफेसर आलोक कुमार जी, रजिस्ट्रार HPNLU शिमला, सभागार में उपस्थित सभी सम्मानित व्यक्तिगण, अतिथिगण जो आज हमारे साथ यहाँ उपस्थित है, फैकल्टी में मेरे कोलीग्स, डियर स्टूडेंट्स एंड पार्टिसिपेंट्स। आज हिमाचल प्रदेश नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए एक बहुत ही ऐतिहासिक दिन। पूर्व में भी बहुत प्रयास किए थे, हमें माननीय यहाँ के लोकल जो हमारे प्रतिनिधि है आए, हमारे साथ आए, किसी कारणवश नहीं हो पाया। इस बार हमारे टीम ऑफ द लीडर वाइस चांसलर के अथक प्रयास से संभव हो पाया और हम बहुत बहुत आभारी हैं सांसद महोदय के। आजकल सेशन भी चल रहा है, इसके बावजूद भी आप यहाँ पर आए, आपका बहुत बहुत हार्दिक स्वागत है। आज हिमाचल प्रदेश नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी शिमला सेंटर फॉर ट्राइबल एंड कल्चरल स्टडीज द्वारा आयोजित इस राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन में आप सभी का स्वागत और हार्दिक अभिनंदन। यह सम्मेलन एक ऐसे समय में आयोजित किया जा रहा है जब जनजातीय समुदाय आर्थिक बदलाव, संसाधनों के उपयोग और बढ़ती राजकीय भागीदारी के कारण बड़े परिवर्तनों का सामना कर रहा है। वाइस चांसलर मैम के मार्गदर्शन में इस राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन का आयोजन करना हमारे सेंटर के लिए बहुत ही गर्व का विषय है। सम्मेलन का मुख्य उद्देश्य जनजातीय पहचान, शासन और संस्कृति विरासत पर एक अंतर विषय संवाद स्थापित करना है। हम यहाँ संवैधानिक वादों और जनजातीय समुदाय की वास्तविक जीवन की स्थितियों के बीच में अंतर को पाटने के लिए इस सम्मेलन का आयोजन कर रहे हैं। आज के सम्मेलन की वैचारिक संरचना 5 प्रमुख स्तंभों पर आधारित है, जो हमारे विमर्श का केंद्र रहेंगे। 5 टेक्निकल सेशंस होंगे, ऑनलाइन सेशंस होंगे, और मुझे ये कहते हुए बहुत खुशी हो रही है जो इस सेशन को चेयर करेंगे हमारे नेशनल लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी रायपुर से हैं, नेशनल लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी आसाम से हैं और नेशनल लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी उड़ीसा के अलावा हमारे यहाँ के खुद के जो प्रोफेसर लोग हैं इनका संचालन करेंगे टेक्निकल सेशंस का। आज के सम्मेलन के वैचारिक संरचना 5 प्रमुख संदर्भों पर आधारित है, जो हमारे विमर्श का केंद्र रहेंगे। पहला, पहचान, मान्यता और सांस्कृतिक ढांचा। यह सत्र जनजातीय पहचान के विकास, नागरिकता की राजनीति और प्रशासन और न्यायालयों में भाषाई समानता के महत्व पर केंद्रित रहेगा। पहला टेक्निकल सेशन। दूसरा, भूमि, शासन और न्याय। इस सत्र में हम वन अधिकार अधिनियम, FRA 2006, पंचायत एक्सटेंशन टू शेड्यूल एरिया एक्ट 1993 के कार्यान्वयन की चुनौतियों, विस्थापन और पारंपरिक न्याय प्रणालियों की प्रभावशीलता का विश्लेषण करेंगे। तीसरा सत्र ज्ञान संपत्ति और प्रतिनिधित्व पर आधारित रहेगा। इस सत्र में पारंपरिक, पारिस्थितिक और औषधीय ज्ञान के संरक्षण, बौद्धिक संपदा अधिकार, IPR और शैक्षणिक पाठ्यक्रम में जनजातीय प्रणालियों के समावेश पर चर्चा करेंगे। चौथा सत्र रहेगा परिवर्तन, प्रवासन और आधारितता। इस सत्र में शहरीकरण, प्रवासन के कारण बदलती पहचान और डिजिटल आधारितता का डाटा प्रोटेक्शन, संप्रभुता जैसे मुद्दों पर विचार विमर्श होगा। और जो हमारा 5वां सत्र और आखिरी सत्र होगा, यह होगा लिंग, संस्कृति और भविष्य। अंतिम चरण में हम जनजातीय कानूनी प्रणालियों के भीतर महिलाओं की भूमिका और स्वतंत्र समुदाय आधारित नीति सुधारों पर संवाद करेंगे। शुरू में जब इस प्रोग्राम की प्रारूप तैयार किया गया था, हमारे पास 60 से ज्यादा एंट्रीज आई थी। फाइनली जो हमने पेपर सिलेक्ट किए हैं, इनकी संख्या 50 से ऊपर है और ये सारे 50 पेपर विशेषज्ञों द्वारा चयनित किए गए। मैं अंत में एक बार फिर से माननीय सांसद महोदय का जो निवेदन हमारी वाइस चांसलर ने किया, एक भूमिका है, आगे जाकर हमें सर बहुत आगे चलना है, हमें कम्पीट करना है बाकी जो नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटीज है। और हमारे लिए बहुत ही गर्व का विषय है कि शिमला संसदीय क्षेत्र में नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी स्थापित है। हम अपेक्षा करते हैं आपका सहयोग हमें मिलता रहेगा। इसी के साथ आपका बहुत बहुत आभार। सभी जो यहाँ पर उपस्थित है सभी का हार्दिक अभिनंदन।
Thank you so much, sir, for this detailed course of action for the day's long deliberation. We have now arrived at a very crucial moment of this conference, one that promises depth, insight, and meaningful reflection on the views of the tribal communities. It is my profound privilege to introduce and invite our esteemed keynote speaker of the day, Professor Dr. Harish Thakur, Department of Political Science, Himachal Pradesh University. Dr. Thakur's understanding of society, culture, and policy. His works reflect a deep commitment to examining issues of identity, marginalization, and justice, making his presence especially relevant to the theme of today's conference. His insights have guided many scholars and continue to inspire critical thinking and meaningful inquiry. We are truly honored to have amongst us an eminent scholar today. May I now humbly request Professor Dr. Harish Thakur to deliver the keynote address and enlighten us with his thought-provoking words.
Honorable Member of Parliament, Professor Priti Saxena ji, Vice Chancellor, National Law University, Professor S.S. Jaswal, Conference Director, and Registrar, Professor Anu Kumar. I find it quite interesting and awakening to find such a vibrant crowd. See, the conference theme, tribal identity, governance, and justice. There are three words in it: identity, governance, and justice. Tribes, there have been debates over the terminological explications of people. In Indian context, it is more complex. It is more debated. We prefer the indigenous people. We prefer the Vanvasi, forest dwellers. Then there are people who prefer Janjatis. But at the most, where we can consent for a little bit of consensus is probably Adivasis. Because Janjati, indigenous people, there are disputes. We are still grappling with the migration theories. Still, the Aryans, the Persians, the Dravidians, and the recent outcomes from the excavations, they established that the Aryan migration theory is just a hoax. So in such a stage, I believe that the Constitution of India and its legal standing about the terminological use of the term scheduled tribe is probably more appropriate. It doesn't distinguish, it doesn't refer to the rest of the terminological issues. So debate is to a good extent subdued. Before I discuss certain theories, why theories are important, I tell you. I don't know whether research degrees are issued by this university. Do you have research programs? I'm not sure, but we are into research activities. And normally, we tell our students that theories are just candles and lanterns. They guide our path in the dark. No theory can be completely repudiated. Every theory has a relevance. So in that theoretical lens, before coming to the discussion of there are few debates and binaries in Indian discourse of tribal development, I would discuss that the Western colonial view of tribes is quite interesting. It is quite interesting because it helps us understand materially the evolution of a people. We have galloped or jumped quite high from the primitive society. I get derelict, you can bring me back to the point. I've discussed when we speak about primitive societies, Karl Marx becomes very important. And there are certain names which have been deliberately, unintentionally marginalized. They haven't otherwise contributed negatively. So academics and a non-biased approach tells that every word that has significance has to be discussed. So I will bring the Marxian narrative of the primitive society and the development process of people and how tribe emerges there. But then from the primitive society to the current AI society, should I call it AI society? Because very soon, within 10 years, we are going to enter into the quantum AI circumstance, which is very challenging, I tell you. Till now, in last 20 years, I believe that people have dissociated with the printed world. There is no culture of going through books. Everything has been looted by the smartphones, the e-packets, the electronic world, and the transformation from a primitive world, which can be to the best associated with the deep, dark forests of India or the majority of Africa, to the world of AI. Very interesting, some Australian very recently developed a software, and he applied those his imaginaries to certain robots. The robot was AI controlled robot was given the chance to open his account. So just like we open FB accounts, Instagram accounts, those robots opened their account. And then they became friends on FB or any social platform. And when they started interacting, they were offered friendship by humans also. And when they approved the friendships, humans kept on watching their activities, robot A, B, C, and then they started discussing among themselves that, see, humans are trying to intervene in our conversation. Let us change the codes of our conversation. This is the AI world. The day these robots will be allowed to rule over, they will change the codes, they will change the conversations. And they further expressed their concern that since humans are intervening in robotic world, in our activities, we believe that the rights of the robots are being violated. Human rights of the robots are being violated. See, I am talking about, we are going to enter into this world of quantum AI very soon, which is challenging. Which is challenging for human existence, I believe. We don't need, go through the Middle East, we don't need nukes. We just need a small virus. COVID was enough to reach to every corner of the world. So the chemical weapons and the AI could be more dangerous. Now, coming to, from Marx, I will come to the Henry Morgan and Edward Bernard Taylor, who are the primary faces of the literature of tribes, the Western literature I would call, and they are basically the colonial scholars, the colonial mind they represent. Karl Marx, as we have heard, Before Karl Marx, I tell you that the Indian mythological references, the Harshcharita, written by Ban Bhatt, speaks about the forest dwellers. It speaks about Vanvasis and Adivasis. In Mahabharata, there are Nishad, there is talk of Nishad. Who were Nishad? अगर आपको याद हो तो ये वनवासी लोग थे. They were very criminal kind of people, these Nishads. And it is believed that they were descendants of Manu. Manu, the first person who is believed to have given rise to the life cycle on earth. They were descendants of Manu. They were very criminal and atrocious people. So the that reference somehow survives with the British. When the students of law, if you have gone through the British legislation about the tribal people, you must have recorded that they talked about the notified tribes and the denotified tribes, and the talk was about the criminal tribals. In Andaman, there are certain areas you can't enter into. Few Britishers and US scholars tried to enter, and they were killed in a single bow. The bow was highly poisoned. So this is very important. There is a very important debate between Wadier, Alvin, and Burrell. This debate represents a lot about the tribal discourse in India. I will come to this debate, and I told you that I get strayed from my prime course. I want to go to Karl Marx. Karl Marx, just like Jesus Christ, it is believed that he visited India, and the ideas of compassion, the philanthropy, so many things. There are certain other narratives also, his presence and his tomb in even Kashmir. I won't go into that discussion, but Karl Marx is deeply impacted by the Indian philosophical tradition. He speaks about, let us forget about his class narrative, the rich, the poor, the capitalist, the worker, the bourgeois, the proletarian. That narrative came later. Initially, he tries to establish how these classes have originated, and he speaks about the early society, the primal world, the primitive society, and he speaks about the traditional society, which comprised of gens, जिसको हमारे भारत की प्रथा में गण भी बोलते थे. कितने गण, 16-17 gens थे हमारे यहाँ पे गणराज्य. तो gens, he takes gens to a smaller unit, followed by phratries. Phratries were the brotherhood groups, and above certain phratries, few phratries went on to compose a tribe. And certain few tribes, a group of tribes went on to compose a confederacy. So we believe that it appears to be a kind of just a fantasy of Karl Marx's mind, but this fantasy appears to be rooted somewhere in the Indian tradition also. And later on, Henry Morgan and Edward Taylor, they are prime voices of the colonial view of tribes and the scholarship on tribes. They speaks about 4 stages. See, the colonialists see tribes from the lens of stages. The less dwelt, little dwelt, less dwelt, higher dwelt, and highly dwelt. So they use the term, there were bands, there were tribes, chiefdoms, state. These are the 4 words that Henry Morgan uses. Band, you all understand, a band of a group of students a band of musicians, a group of a numerically less number. But few bands go on to constitute a tribe. That means later on, I'm forgetting the name, Eichmann or something. He also speaks about the segmentary character of tribes. Tribe is not a singular homogeneous group. Within tribe, there are certain segments which may differ genetically on blood lines, but they have the communism or the interaction of a uniform kind of interaction. So that thing is there. The chiefdom is represented by the presence of a ruler. The presence of a ruler. जैसे ट्राइबल है भी है कबीलों का आज भी कबीलों के प्रमुख होते हैं. So that kind of existence of a group is chiefdom, and when we go into the official evolution of such group, that turns into a state. So these are the historical references. There are, Henry Morgan also speaks about that we can also differentiate between tribes and non-tribes. That tribes are the people who can read and write, who have the habits of reading and writing. But those people who can't read and write, they are they illiterate? So they say that no, we can't, on the terms of evolution of knowledge, we can't call the people who are otherwise considered tribal as illiterates or uncivilized. They have to be called as non-civilized and pre-literate. Before literacy, there was a stage when knowledge was not there. So that is the point of the softer point of view to look upon the idea of tribe in the Indian context. See, during the freedom movement, I don't want to give it any political twist. Otherwise, there is political angle and dimension to it. That before independence, after independence, so many things went on, and the whole of Northeast was lost. The whole of Northeast was lost. There was a home empire that had controlled a lot of Northeast, primarily Assam. And then the warrior Alvin, who entered in India somewhere in 20s, and he was basically a missionary. But in the company of Mahatma Gandhi, his ideas were influenced, and he thought of looking after the marginalized and the less developed people. So he developed an idea of protecting the cultures and the traditions of these tribal people. So his argument was that the tribal areas shouldn't be intervened. They have to be protected officially, and as soon as the Indian Constitution was in the evolution, the idea permeated there. The idea was impacted the constitutional provisions. But in the meantime, Mr. Gray, both were anthropologists and wonderful scholars of tribes and marginalized people. He was of a different view that say the tribal people are not animals, don't consider that they are to be protected just like in Jews or in certain boundaries where no one can enter. So that idea is against the dignity of a people. Gure gave the idea, and his one very important volume, Mahashiv Poli, something about the tribes of Maharashtra. In that volume, he speaks about the Hindu origins, the Hindu linkages of the tribal people. He says that the tribals in history, the Sanatan tradition is so vast, and it has different schools. It has the theistic people, the atheist people. It has the orthodox people, non-orthodox people. The sixth Shaddarshan is there, but in the meantime, the orthodox schools, Buddhism, Jainism, and your Charvak school is there, who don't believe in soul and the existence of God. So the diversity is so much. Buddha argued that the tribes of India are historically they are having linkages with this Sanatan tradition and Hindu tradition. So it was a political debate between the Alvin's idea of missionary conversion. There are four anthropological views also. The official view that considers them anthropologically on the basis of races who are the tribals. There is the missionary view who believe that the tribals are less developed, uncivilized people and they can be civilized only by Christianizing them. Then there is nationalist school who believe that the tribals are Indian indigenous people and they are expressing themselves against the British. Birsa Munda and Santhal rebellion, all you must have heard about. So they were fighting for their rights. So the idea that the tribes are, as argued by Alvin, appears to be less relevant. So this debate went on, and Jawaharlal Nehru, it was believed that we had huge-hearted secular people. So he placed Alvin in his Department of Tribal Affairs as advisor, and till his death, till 63, 65, what documents say that none of the non-Christian missionary or religious reformer or social reformer was allowed to enter into Northeast. One of the result of dissociation of Northeast from India could be this reason. Now, the protectionism of Alvin and the assimilationism of Gure. Gure wanted to integrate them. Actually, he used the term assimilation, but assimilation and integration have different connotations. Assimilation means you overcome the values of the people, they will adopt your values. For example, westernization. How many people are there who don't wear jeans or the western clothes? Everyone is having grey and we don't have a single Indian specs, I think. So our system of thinking, our value system has been hacked by the West. That is assimilation. But integration means you keep the people with yourself, allowing the people to live with their customs and traditions. So this model of integration and assimilation and protectionism of Alvin and integration, assimilation of Gure was followed in Indian Constitution. I'm back in the articles, remembering Article 15, Article 16, Article 29, Article 244, Article 342, and Schedule 5, Schedule 6, and Article 275 that speaks about the diversion of funds towards tribe. These articles represent the mixture of protectionism. The fifth tribe tells how the whole of the northeastern states, the six sisters, they have been given special status. They are having their own governments. Government of India, Parliament can't legislate about their customs, about their domain, their conventional life. And if they want, the move has to come from the state government. Article 371 A to Z, A to H, 6, 7, 8 states appear there. Even Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, about employability and education, they also have certain rights. So if Himachal has a bad thing or bad economic phase today, there is no problem that Himachal can't seek the preference or the attitude of central government for in its inclusion as a scheduled area, because we have so many things which are common with the states of Northeast. So these are the scopes. I have lots of things. How much time I will be allowed, Alok ji? तो मैं उसी हिसाब से वाइंड अप करूंगा, क्योंकि ये हाँ जी हाँ जी ले ले हो गया टाइम अच्छा हो गया. So the Gure and Alvin's idea was adopted by Jawaharlal Nehru. When we are into political narratives, we are there to curse people also. But you can't steal the goodness of a person. The badness is there, but the goodness has to be appreciated. Jawaharlal Nehru, while writing a foreword to Alvin's book, The Philosophy of Nefa, in 1957, he gave the Panchsheel about tribes. You must have heard about the Panchsheel. Time नहीं पता हमारे पास है, वो तो बंद करी जल्दी है 4 मिनट रह गए. ओके, तो Panchsheel for students, let us contact when you are into the question preparing things. It is very difficult to understand Panchsheel, but if you have the habit of developing abbreviations for long sentences, then you can call it ORTAT. ORTAT, Q, O-R-T-A, Q. Panchsheel of Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, it integrated the assimilationist as well as the protectionist view of Alvin. And in his foreword to Alvin's book, Desmond writes that the tribal people should be given the right to develop autonomously. They should have the autonomous organic growth. Organic growth, जैसे एक animal develop करता है independently, the tribal community should be allowed to grow organically. R refers to rights. The tribal rights, their customs, their value system shouldn't be intervened. Everything should be protected. Tribals should be trained. They should be helped to develop the leadership content. They should be helped to develop leaders, spokesperson who can represent their view. Otherwise, tribals are called the shy people. They don't interact with the rest of the world. So they should be given that training. Then the administration should be independent. They should be allowed to administer themselves. And the Q represents quality. The quality of tribal life can't be compromised with the official quantity of statistics. Don't intervene officially, don't intervene in their life. So there are several challenges with these things also. And in not many things, there were classifications of tribes based on territory, based on races, based on language, and several other issues on the basis of which we try to identify, and scholars have tried to identify the tribals. And if you want to have knowledge about tribals, good readings you can have from the volumes of K.S. Singh. You can Google, you are into a very good time, everything comes before you, just like a breakfast. You can have the Gure Alvin debate. Just Google that and you will get a lot of information. Their volumes, R.C. Majumdar, A.R. Desai, Henry Morgan, and the other people that I discussed, they will enrich your idea about tribes. Tribes are people are not that they are always to be considered at a backseat of the car. They are the people who have less contact with the modern technology and the new uh, the new advents or the inventions of the time. This is how we try to look. There are different lenses also about looking at, but I will, since time constraint is there, I will wind up, and I hope that to some extent I have succeeded. And I tell you, this is my first lecture on tribes. I have never talked on tribes. I have not completed lots of projects on tribes of Ladakh, but never ever before I have spoken. It is not part of our subject content also, but I still believe that I am a good speaker and I do justice to the topic. And I would seek your appreciation for this attempt also. I have spent 6-7 hours for the preparation of this lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for putting it all so honestly. And I also strongly believe that the intense thoughts table, or we are going to table all through the day, will resonate outside the presence of this university and see a change as desired. We, with this, we proceed further and take privilege and great honor in inviting our esteemed chief guest, Sri Suresh Kumar Kashyapji, Honorable Member of Parliament, to deliver the inaugural address. A distinguished leader and a committed public servant, Sri Suresh Kashyapji has consistently worked towards the welfare of the people and has been a strong voice in governance and public life. His journey from serving as a member of the Himachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly to representing Shimla in the 17th Lok Sabha reflects his dedication, leadership, and unwavering commitment to the society. Without much ado, I request Sir to kindly share his words with us.
सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। आज इस शुभ अवसर पर मंच पर विराजमान माननीय कुलपति प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर प्रीति सक्सेना जी, तो इस वाइस चांसलर हैं यूनिवर्सिटी की, डॉक्टर एस दसवाल जी, डॉक्टर हरीश ठाकुर जी, डॉक्टर आलोक कुमार जी, और मेरे साथ आए यशपाल ठाकुर जी, यार सिंह कंवर जी, बॉबी बंसल जी, सुमन गर्ग जी, इंदर ठाकुर जी, सुमित ठाकुर जी, पारुल शर्मा जी, अन्य सभी महानुभाव, सभी प्रोफेसर गण, विद्वान, शोधकर्ता, छात्र छात्राएं और देश भर से जुड़े सभी प्रतिभागी भाइयों तथा बहन, अभी हरीश ठाकुर जी ने बड़े विस्तृत रूप से अपने विचार यहाँ पर रखे। हम सभी जानते हैं कि आज का जो विषय है आदिवासी पहचान, शासन और न्याय समकालीन भारत में मान्यता, अधिकार और वास्तविकता है, और मेरे लिए गर्व का विषय है कि आज इस विषय के ऊपर मुझे आप सबको संबोधित करने का अवसर मिला। आज ये भी मेरे लिए शुभ अवसर है कि पहली बार इस नेशनल लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी में मुझे आने का अवसर मिला। मैं धन्यवाद करता हूँ वाइस चांसलर महोदय मैडम का, सवाल साहब, अन्य सभी जितने प्रोफेसर गण हैं जिन्होंने मुझे मौका दिया और आपके मध्य आने का अवसर दिया। हम सभी जानते हैं कि हमारा देश विविधताओं का देश है। यहाँ पर अनेक जाति, धर्म, संप्रदाय के लोग रहते हैं। और अगर हम देखें तो जहां तक आदिवासी पॉपुलेशन की बात है, देश में 2011 का जो सेंसस हुआ है उसके हिसाब से लगभग 11.5 करोड़ 8.6% पॉपुलेशन जो कि आदिवासी या जनजाति वर्ग के लोग इस देश में रहते हैं। उनकी एक अलग परंपराएं हैं, उनकी भाषा है, उनका पहनावा है, उनकी संस्कृति है और उनका जो जीवन है जंगल, जल और भूमि से गहराई से जुड़ा हुआ है। इस दृष्टि से आदिवासी समाज केवल हमारी संस्कृति की धरोहर नहीं है, बल्कि हमारी प्राचीन सभ्यता, हमारी परंपरा और हमारी संस्कृति का भी प्रतीक है। आज हमको इस बात को स्वीकार करना होगा कि आदिवासी समुदाय अनेक चुनौतियों का सामना कर रहा है। भूमि और संसाधनों से जुड़े मुद्दे, शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य जैसी कमियां और साथ ही साथ प्रशासनिक व्यवस्थाओं तक हमारी पहुंच जैसी समस्याएं आज भी विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में देखने को मिलती हैं। इसलिए मान्यता, अधिकार और वास्तविकता जैसे विषय आज के समय में बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण हो जाते हैं। भारतीय संविधान में आदिवासी समुदायों के अधिकारों की रक्षा के लिए, उनके सशक्तिकरण के लिए अनेक प्रावधान किए गए हैं। अनुसूचित क्षेत्रों की व्यवस्था, पंचायती राज संस्थाओं का विस्तार, वनाधिकार कानून और अनेक नीतियां इसी उद्देश्य के साथ बनाई जा रही है। किंतु इन प्रावधानों का वास्तविक लाभ तभी संभव है जब प्रभावी ढंग से उनका एग्जीक्यूशन होगा, उनका क्रियान्वयन भी किया जाएगा। इस संदर्भ में विश्वविद्यालय और शोध संस्थानों की भूमिका बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हो जाती है। शैक्षिक संस्थान न केवल शिक्षा के केंद्र होते हैं, अपितु वे विचार, शोध और नीति निर्माण का कार्य भी करते हैं। ऐसे सम्मेलन में शोधकर्ताओं, नीति निर्माताओं और समाज के विभिन्न वर्गों के बीच संवाद स्थापित करते हैं, समस्याओं के व्यवहारिक समाधान खोजने में सहायक होते हैं। आज पूरी दुनिया में पर्यावरणीय संकट, जलवायु परिवर्तन जैसी चुनौतियों का सामना हो रहा है और आदिवासी समाज भी प्रकृति केंद्रित जो जीवन शैली है और पारंपरिक ज्ञान, इसमें सतत आगे बढ़ने का प्रयास कर रहा है। इसलिए यह आवश्यक है कि विकास की प्रक्रिया में आदिवासी समाज की पहचान, संस्कृति और गरिमा सुरक्षित रह सके। साथ ही आदिवासी युवाओं को गुणात्मक शिक्षा, कौशल विकास और रोजगार के अवसर जो है अत्यंत आवश्यक है। आदिवासी महिलाओं की भूमिका भी समुदाय और समाज के निर्माण में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। इसलिए शासन और निर्णय निर्माण की प्रक्रिया में भी उनकी भागीदारी सुनिश्चित करने की आवश्यकता है। हम सभी जानते हैं, एक सांसद होने के नाते मैं कह सकता हूं कि पिछले 11.5 वर्षों में वर्तमान सरकार ने आदिवासी समाज के कल्याण के लिए अनेक विकास योजनाओं की शुरुआत की है और उनको केवल विकास योजनाओं तक सीमित नहीं रखा, बल्कि उनकी संस्कृति, उनकी पहचान और गौरव को भी राष्ट्रीय मंच पर स्थापित करने का निर्णय लिया। जहां पहले आदिवासी नायकों का योगदान केवल पुस्तक के पन्नों तक सीमित रह जाता था, आज भगवान बिरसा मुंडा जैसे महान स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों की जयंती को पूरे देश में जनजातीय गौरव दिवस के रूप में मनाने का निर्णय लिया गया और आज हर वर्ष 15 नवंबर को जनजातीय गौरव दिवस पूरे देश भर में मनाया जाता है और साथ ही साथ जो उनके योगदान रहा है उसको भी याद किया जाता है। इसका उद्देश्य आदिवासी समाज के वीरों को उनका जो योगदान रहा उनको सम्मान देना, उनकी संस्कृति, उनकी परंपराएं, उनको सुरक्षित रखना और उनके विकास को और अधिक सुदृढ़ और सुनिश्चित करना। इस दिशा में आज हमारा देश आगे बढ़ रहा है। देश भर में ट्राइबल फ्रीडम फाइटर्स म्यूजियम की स्थापना की गई है। नई पीढ़ी को जानने का अवसर मिल रहा है कि किस प्रकार से आदिवासी समाज ने भी स्वतंत्रता के आंदोलन में अपना बहुत बड़ा योगदान दिया। आदिवासी महोत्सव की हम बात करें, उसका आयोजन करके आदिवासी कला, आदिवासी हस्तशिल्प, उनकी परंपराएं जो आज केवल ना राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर अपितु अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तर के ऊपर भी अपनी एक अलग पहचान के साथ है। शिक्षा में आदिवासी समाज के विस्तार के लिए देश भर में आज 91 विद्यालय खोले जा रहे हैं, जिसका लगभग 3.5 लाख से ज्यादा स्टूडेंट्स को लाभ मिल रहा है। पहली बार रिमोट ट्राइबल क्षेत्रों में बच्चे आईआईटी नीट की तैयारी कर रहे हैं। प्री पोस्ट मैट्रिक स्कॉलरशिप की शुरुआत करके बच्चों को शिक्षा सुलभ हो सके, इस दृष्टि में केंद्र सरकार ने कदम उठाए हैं। हमको आज इस बात की भी खुशी है कि पिछले 11.5 वर्षों में जहां देश के सभी वर्गों का कल्याण करने के लिए अनेकों योजनाएं शुरुआत की गई हैं, उसमें आदिवासी समाज का भी उत्थान हो सके, उनको भी अच्छी जीवन सुविधाएं मिल सके, उस दृष्टि से हमारी सरकार आज काम कर रही है। 5 लाख रुपए तक मुफ्त इलाज की सुविधा देना, जिन घरों के शौचालय जिनके पास नहीं थे, शौचालयों का निर्माण करवाना, 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा शौचालय इस देश में बनाए गए हैं। आज 4 करोड़ से ज्यादा प्रधानमंत्री का आवास योजना के घर बनाकर जिनके पास घर नहीं थे उनको घर देने का काम जो है केंद्र सरकार ने किया है। घर घर गैस देने का काम किया है। 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा परिवारों को गैस की सुविधा देने का काम हुआ है। बहुत सारे क्षेत्र में, विशेष रूप से हमारा जो नॉर्थ ईस्ट का क्षेत्र था, जहां पर बिजली की सुविधा नहीं थी, केंद्र सरकार ने 11.5 वर्षों में उन घरों को जगमगाने का काम किया जिनके पास बिजली जैसी मूल सुविधा की भी कमी थी। और आज स्वास्थ्य क्षेत्रों में भी टेलीमेडिसिन के माध्यम से या स्वास्थ्य संस्थानों को खोलकर बेसिक जो नीड्स है उनको पूरा करने का काम केंद्र सरकार ने किया है। निश्चित रूप से आज वर्तमान सरकार हमारे जनजातीय वर्ग के उत्थान के लिए, आदिवासी वर्ग के उत्थान के लिए निरंतर प्रयास कर रही है। और आज तो हमें इस बात का भी गर्व है कि हमारी जो राष्ट्रपति हैं वो भी ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी से आती हैं। मैं समझता हूँ ये भी आदिवासी समाज को एक बहुत बड़ा सम्मान देने का काम जो है इस देश में हुआ है। जहां तक आज, क्योंकि मैं विधि विश्वविद्यालय में हूँ और मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि यहाँ देश भर के छात्र छात्राएं शिक्षा ग्रहण कर रहे हैं, उस दिशा में भी केंद्र सरकार ने पिछले 11.5 वर्षों में बहुत सारे ऐसे कानून, लगभग 1,500 ऐसे कानून जो कि लंबे अंग्रेजों के समय से चले आ रहे थे, उनको या तो समाप्त करने का काम किया है या उसमें सुधार करने का काम किया है। केंद्र सरकार लगातार विभिन्न कानूनों के माध्यम से अनेक बिल लेकर आ रही है, जैसे धारा 370-35 को समाप्त करने का काम, कश्मीर को हिंदुस्तान का जो भिन्न अंग है उसको उस देश में जिस प्रकार से 2 दिशा 2 प्रधान 2 संविधान की जो नीति चल रही थी उसको समाप्त करने का काम केंद्र सरकार ने किया है। उसी प्रकार से 3 तलाक को समाप्त करके जो हमारी मुस्लिम बहनें हैं उनको उनका हक देने का काम, उनको सुरक्षा देने का काम किया है। नागरिकता संशोधन अधिनियम सीएए को लाकर जो पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान, बांग्लादेश में हमारे जो बहुत सारे हिंदू, सिख, पारसी, जैन, बौद्ध और संख्यक जो लोग वहां पर जिनके ऊपर अत्याचार हो रहे थे, जिन्होंने इस देश की शरण ली थी, उनको इस देश की नागरिकता देने का काम केंद्र सरकार ने नागरिकता संशोधन अधिनियम लाकर किया। इसी प्रकार से महिलाएं जो हमारे समाज का 50% है उनको नागरिकता संशोधन अधिनियम लाकर 33% आरक्षण लोकसभा और विधानसभा में देने का काम किया है। और साथ ही साथ नए आपराधिक कानून 2023 जिसमें भारतीय न्याय संहिता, भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता, भारतीय साक्ष्य अधिनियम, इसको लाकर जो है आईपीसी को चेंज करने का काम केंद्र सरकार ने किया। और पिछले कल अगर आप देखें तो जन विश्वास बिल जिसमें कि लगभग 750 कानून, उसको डीक्रिमिनलाइजेशन का काम करने का और इस देश में ईज ऑफ लिविंग, ईज ऑफ बिजनेस और इस प्रकार के सुधार करने का काम केंद्र सरकार ने किया है। मैं समझता हूं आज इन 11.5 वर्षों के दौरान हर वर्ग को आगे ले जाने के लिए केंद्र सरकार ने प्रयास किए हैं, वो चाहे SC ST हो, चाहे हमारे OBC हो, चाहे EWS हो, या समाज का कोई भी, किसी भी जाति, किसी भी धर्म, किसी भी संप्रदाय का व्यक्ति हो, सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास के साथ आज केंद्र सरकार काम कर रही है। तो मेरे लिए आज ये बड़े सौभाग्य का विषय है कि मुझे इस अवसर पर आज आपके मध्य आने का अवसर मिला, आपके साथ अपने विचार साझा करने का मौका मिला। तो मैं वाइस चांसलर महोदय और उनकी पूरी टीम का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं। और साथ ही मैडम आपने एक डिमांड रखी है जो कि आप मैस का जो आपका वेस्ट डिकम्पोजिशन है उसके लिए ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट लगाना चाहते हैं। आपने 7 लाख की डिमांड रखी है, तो मैं 7 लाख रुपए उसके लिए देने की घोषणा करता हूँ। मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि आज मुझे पहली बार मालूम पड़ा कि HPNLU ये जो आपकी नेशनल लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी है, ये HP की यूनिवर्सिटी, स्टेट की यूनिवर्सिटी है। तो भविष्य में भी मेरे लायक जो भी होगा मैं आपको आश्वस्त करता हूँ। और जहाँ पर भी मेरी आवश्यकता होगी मैं हर समय यहाँ के विकास के लिए, यहाँ की समस्याओं के समाधान के लिए निरंतर आपके साथ हूँ। ऐसा आश्वस्त करते हुए फिर से मैं आप सबका धन्यवाद करता हूँ।
Thank you so much, sir, for such big announcement. I want students, everybody present here, to give one more round of applause for this big parade. Thank you, sir. With this, we have come to the close of the inaugural session of this conference. Today's deliberations remind us that conversations around recognition, rights, and realities are not merely academic. They are essential to building a more just, inclusive, and compassionate society. As we reflect on the lives and struggles of tribal communities, we are reminded the land is not just soil, it is memory, identity, and life. To protect it is to protect people, culture, and future. To formally conclude this session, I now invite Professor Dr. Alok Kumar, Registrar HPNLU, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Ruchi. Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Suresh Kashyapji, Honorable Member of Parliament, distinguished Speaker, Professor Hari Thakur, Professor, Department of Political Science, Himachal Pradesh University, Honorable Vice Chancellor Madam, Professor S.S. Jaswal, Director Center for Tribal and Cultural Studies, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, participants, and dearest students. Good afternoon to all. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion on the inaugural session of the National Conference on Tribal Identity, Governance, and Justice in Contemporary India, Recognition, Rights, and Realities. At the outset, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Sri Suresh Kashyapji, Honorable Member of Parliament, for gracing this occasion and delivering an insightful inaugural address. Your presence has truly elevated the significance of this conference. Thank you, sir. I am deeply grateful to our keynote speaker, Professor Hari Thakur, Professor Political Science, Himachal Pradesh University, for enlightening address and valuable insight that enriched our understanding of the subject. Your valuable linkage of the tribal rights evolution since ancient to modern period is very helpful and set the tone of this conference, sir. Thank you, sir. I express my sincere thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Madam for her inspiring welcome address and for constant guidance and leadership in organizing such meaningful academic engagement. Thank you, ma'am. I extend my appreciation to Professor Jaswal for presenting a thoughtful introduction to the theme of the conference and setting the tone for the deliberations ahead. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks to the Center for Tribal and Cultural Studies and Organizing Committee for their dedicated efforts in conceptualizing and successfully organizing this conference. I would also like to acknowledge the support of all faculty members, the staff members, and the students whose hard work behind the scene ensured the smooth conduct of this session. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants for their interest, diligence, and contribution to this academic gathering. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. I request all to kindly stand for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request the distinguished guests to remain seated because we want to capture the moment for an everlasting remembrance. I request the committee to come forward and the organizing